tämän tilaisuuden tarkoituksesta ja lähdetään siitä, että kaikille varmaan Solteq on tuttu. Me ollaan 700 hengen asiantuntijaorganisaatio, joka auttaa yrityksiä bisneksen luomisessa, tekemisessä ja parantamisessa. Ja se, miksi me ollaan täällä tänään, niin kaikki on huomannut tämän ikävän pandemian jälkeisen ajan, että yhtäkkiä koko bisnes on muuttunutkin aika paljon nopeammaksi, aika paljon digitaalisemmaksi ja aika paljon monimutkaisemmaksi. Ja mun yksi hyvä kollega tästä meidän Solteqilta sanoi kerran asiakkaalle, kun asiakas mietti, että miksi me näitä tehdään, niin hän sanoi näillä sanoin, että miettikää sitä kautta, että älkää tehkö mitään, mikä ei paranna teidän omaa bisnestä, joko myynnin lisäystä tai katetta tai mieluummin vielä molempia. Tehokkuus ennen kaikkea, mutta kuitenkin, jos asiakaskokemus kärsii, niin silloin me ollaan väärällä tiellä. Eli aina pitää kaikkien ratkaisujen, ei pelkästään digitaalisuuden takia, vaan sen takia, että oma bisnes paranee tai asiakaskokemus paranee. Ja parhaassa tapauksessa näin käy aina niin kuin kummassakin osapuolessa. Eli nyt tämä on sikäli herkullinen aihe, että order management aiheena on hyvin ajankohtainen. Se tulee parantamaan sekä bisnestä että asiakaskokemusta. Ja jos me katsotaan niin kuin pitkässä mittakaavassa tätä Suomen ja muun maailman eroa, mitä me mielellään aina vertaillaan, niin tämä order management ei ole nyt sitten semmoinen asia, että voitaisiin sanoa, että tavataan torilla. Jos me katsotaan maailmanlaajuisesti hyvin pärjääviä organisaatioita ja hyvin pärjääviä digitaalista esiintymistä, niin order management on ihan siellä niin kuin kaikissa käytössä oikein täysin voimin. Suomessa me ollaan vähän jälkimatkalla, mutta matkalla sinne päin kuitenkin kovaa vauhtia. Ja sitten kun me mietitään tätä order managementia noin yleisesti, niin meillähän on ollut kaikilla sellainen vähän mielikuva, että nyt tarvitaan paljon iso kasa rahaa ja vielä enemmän rahaa ja sitten vielä päälle lisää rahaa, kun mennään yli tavoitteiden ja budjetteiden ja sitten tupakkaa oikein ja paljon. Me ollaan nyt yhdessä IBM:n kanssa tehty aika iso duuni tämän kevään aikana, niin että me ollaan saatu vihdoin tästä order managementista helpommin lähestyttävä ja mahdollisesti myös semmoinen asia, joka voidaan organisaation koosta riippumatta, digitaalisen bisneksen määrästä riippumatta, niin jopa ottaa käyttöön. Tämä tulee olla todella mielenkiintoinen aamupäivä. Mä toivon, että te tuutte kaikki viihtymään. Mä tuun seuraamaan keskustelua eli chattia, laittakaa sinne kysymyksiä. Mä kysyn meidän osallistujilta, kun on sopiva hetki. Ja tämä nauhoite tullaan jakamaan ja materiaali teille myös jälkikäteen. Eli muistiinpanoja ei tarvitse muuta tehdä, kuin jos omaksi ilokseen toteaa, niin että niitä tarvitsee. Onko tässä vaiheessa jotain kysyttävää tai kommentoitavaa? Jos ei ole, niin lähdetään order managementin iloiseen maailmaan. And now I will change to English and please Anil, if you want to say something a little bit about yourself and then continue with your so great story about Pandora, what have you done so far?
Thank you, Ansi. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity, and thanks IBM along with Solteq. Thank you. As you all know, this is Anil Uttamchandani. I am working as a director of engineering in a digital stream for Pandora. I started working with Pandora in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. So today I'm going to present how we are moving towards the excellence in digital, being, say, one of the pioneers in some of the areas at the same time trying to achieve the excellence. And it's a journey. There is no destination to it. It's always a journey towards the betterment. This is me. I'll share my slides and see that how does it go. But if you have any questions, please put it on the chat and then we'll get back to you. And see, once you see this slides, do let me know.
Yeah. Now we're okay.
Yeah, okay. So before we start on the journey, I believe most of the people know Pandora, but it's my responsibility to make you aware where actually we are. So let's see where actually we are. So we are a #1 jewelry brand with around 27,000 employees globally. And this is a key number because it's all people, it's all we who drives the business. And the second most important number is around 670 plus million visits in our physical and online stores. And these are the most important people, the customer who makes us what we are today. I'm so proud on the number, which is that 26% online share of revenue. It's an amazing number to achieve for a company which started its digital journey just in few years ago, let's say 2018. We have just 102 million pieces sold and 6,800 points of sale in more than 100 countries. And that's why we are #1 jewelry brand in the world at this point of time. So this is Pandora for you guys. And then let's move on. And this is our digital hub located in Copenhagen, the heart of hustling where Pandora was born. This is amazing open workplace which inspire you because of all the views around you, all the people around you. These are the few more amazing pictures of our amazing workplace. And here we are. Where did we start it? How did the Pandora started? How did the journey started? So it was founded in 1982 and it became the world's largest jewelry brand known for its affordable, hand finished and high quality jewelry. And which is not mentioned on this slide is our manufacturing unit is based on Thailand, which is known for its craftsmen around silver. So that's why there's a perfect location because you find world's best craftsmen crafting high-end jewelry for the customers. Customer always appreciated the individual attention which they get on Pandora stores. And you'll see in my future slides, we are focusing a lot on personalization from digital channels as well. Why the personalization? We always felt the jewelry is very personalized piece, always connects with an emotion of achievement, in an emotion of union, and then it requires a personal attention to each and every individual to show off what they are, to sport their true feelings by putting on the jewelry. And Pandora is successfully achieving it. Now, when it comes to the digital, because now we will talk about digital more, as that's my area of expertise, what is the vision of engineering team in digital? It's very simple. Our vision is to have a simplified technology landscape to provide velocity that reduces time to market for additional digital features and innovation. What do we mean by that? The biggest challenge for today's retail world is the journey from idea to the execution. We are not afraid of failing, we are not afraid of trying. To achieve that, we must have a technical landscape which make it possible as fast as possible. So to provide that velocity, we need simplicity. And that's what we are trying to bring in to our technical landscape. Integration is the key piece, which is like plumbing and e-commerce feature development. These are the two key aspects to get there where we would like to be. I would love to tell a little bit about the inception of e-com into Pandora. When I say that we started in 2018, it doesn't mean that there was no online sales. It was all local sites. There was no central OMS, local front ends, local OMSs, and it was really difficult to manage. Imagine that we are around in 100 countries, 100 e-com sites differently being maintained, managed by different people. It eventually becomes unmanageable for a corporate like Pandora. So we started our journey and the company started thinking about having a central platform. And then the best thing happened that we don't have to be on-prem. We directly came on cloud. So there was not much a journey or a transition from on-prem to the cloud. We had a luxury to choose the cloud from very beginning. And that was the motive, that was the focus, to select the offerings from the market, which provides most of the features out of the box, requires much less customization, can be handled via configuration, and their services are available on cloud, so we don't have to worry about managing and maintaining infra or their ops. And then we found two best things in the market was Salesforce Commerce Cloud, which we use for our front end, and IBM Sterling, which we use for our e-com order fulfillment. And they were the best in the market, and we went for it. So that was a brief story about an inception. Initially, we did a POC in US with a local partner, and then we moved on and then started implementations from Australia and so on. Now, there starts our journey towards digital operational excellence. As you know, we are on a very ambitious journey, and in last few years, Pandora platform has successfully handled more than 100% increase year by year in their e-commerce volumes. And that's all was made possible by the joint efforts of all our teams across Pandora, either be internal or the external teams. Everybody came together, joined their hands to achieve such a feat, and amazingly. Here I would like to highlight one thing about Pandora's business. Our volumes increased significantly in the last quarter. That's our peak. And it's more than 100% increase during the peak than off peak. It's just 3 times. So you can imagine what kind of scalability and what kind of operational excellence we may require to handle the peak. So that's all being achieved successfully in last all the years since 2018 by all the great Pandora team and the vendors who are supporting us, and all credit goes to them. And that was true during the pandemic as well. Now, approaches which made the impact. And I'm talking about during the pandemic, especially that what kind of approaches which made the impact for us. Sense of belonging. So as the pandemic hit, we realized that people will lose the sense of belonging really quickly because they are not coming to office. They are working remote. And it really makes it tough for anyone to get the sense of belonging when you're working from remote locations and just having no interaction, just teams and other formal interaction, not the coffee chats or other areas where. So we made a matrix and realized that these are the key aspects which are in front of you, which will increase the sense of belonging into our teams, and that will help them to be productive, to be passionate, to be connected to the real world. What are the most important things? I will start with work-life balance. And Finland is known for it. They are I know Finland is one of the pioneers and kind of example towards the world. So guys, we have kind of little bit learned from you. At the same time, we have innovated. So the work-life balance, opportunity to win the different streams. So opportunity to work in a different streams is very important. People easily get bored in working in a same team or a same stream. They look out for a change. When they look out for a change, if the change is available internally, that's well appreciated. Because why would you leave an organization where you have spent so much time, so much energy, you have connections, just because you are seeking for a change? And if that organization is capable of providing you that change, then it's a win-win situation for both. Job security was initially when the pandemic hit, that was the biggest concern, the job security. And I'm proud to tell you that Pandora, even though the stores was closed and all, we didn't lay off anyone, any store employees. Most of them were kept. And then we paid the salaries and we made sure that they are well taken care of. A strong relationship between the team members. It's very essential. To be a team, it must behave a team. It must behave like a team. And we did online. Now we are moving in the real world. We have our events within the teams, within all the departments. Friendly offices, friendly environment, open dialogues between the teams. These all, and as you see, these all are focused on the team members. These are the most important people which makes everything possible. So then we are move on. What is the next one, which meant ways of working in our teams? That also made a big impact. And we realized over the period of time, most of the work was done remotely. People were actually at home. They were working, and we have onshore offshore model. Distributed teams are the new normal nowadays because days are gone when all the team members are sitting in the one office, and it's very hard. It's a kind of luxury now that you have all the team members sitting in one location next to you. For all the key resources, key skill, work-life balance become the key consideration for them to opting for a job or opting staying in an organization. Flexible working hours. Specialized talent is in big demand, and to satisfy them, we need to do all what is. And the most important thing what we did, we said no to war rooms for any release, and we are still trying to achieve that target because we have now there are no war rooms, but still when we have releases, there is a drama around it a bit, but we want to get rid of it. We want to make release as a common activity as it could be. And it could be possible by any of our developers. They doesn't need to ask for any of the approvals to do so. What were the differentiators to achieve that vision which I shared with you that related to release? Focused on the test automation because quality is essential and test automation is a reality now. We can't afford to be on manual testing anymore. Automation in dev. And when I say automation in dev, is CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment. People might have heard a lot, but if you look down into your teams in the market, the adoption of CI/CD is not even more than 50% in real terms. CI is still achievable, continuous integration is still achievable, but CD is complex in a domain-driven architecture where we are. Enabling code quality right from the source. How do we do that? We started doing static code analysis, unit testing, used Mockito, Sonar, Cloud to give us a good code quality from the source from the very beginning. We worked on our branching strategy to have a single code base. We moved away from feature branches. We came on the trunk-based branching to provide one single source of truth, one single source of code. And also focused on toggle-based feature development so that features can be delivered into the production in a dormant mode, and whenever in whichever condition they are required, they can be toggled on and off. So these were the differentiators, and we are still working on them to achieve that vision of making a release is a as common task as any other task in the development piece. And the most important thing which helped us to achieve this is platforms on cloud. Because it gets very essential to not to worry about deployments, not to worry about managing infra, not to worry about managing servers. To be focused on development, to be focused on feature development rather than handling ops. Other aspects which helped us, as I shared a few slides ago, that our volumes vary between the peak and non-peak. We need incredible scalability during peak and off-peak, and that was only made possible being on cloud. Faster development, it is because of the product we choose, product platforms we choose, like IBM Sterling Commerce. They allow us to configure all the features. Most of the things are available out of the box. Integration with rest of the landscape. It's essential when something changes around the landscape, and change is faster than ever. We are changing every day. How to minimize the impact of the change in surrounding landscape onto our key systems. It was made possible by the architecture, especially I will give an example because people are here from which understands IBM. So OMS, Sterling Commerce, their SOA architecture allow us to integrate with surrounding landscape very easily, and it's already event based. Keep other channels updated when the auto format execution updates. That's very easy. That becomes easier when you have SOA or you are integrated well. And that helps us a lot to maintain smaller teams, have the great velocity, work remotely, and still being able to deliver. We were able to, do deployment like 40 plus deployment during the pandemic, and that is too when everybody was here, and that's because we were on cloud. And when I say deployment, in those deployments, it includes feature development, it includes market rollouts, it includes upgrades. So we were able to nail everything. That in numbers what we have done. How do we see the future? The question is, okay, that's what's done. History is history. What's next? So, as I said in the very beginning, today's consumer demands more personalized products, services, and interactions. That was a statement from David Vamsi, our CDTO. And we firmly believe in this. That's the fact. And if you look at in ourselves, we do want the same thing. We want personalized product and services and interactions now. And it became more demanding after the pandemic. How should organizations must react to the consumer demand swiftly? Shift behind behavior towards the online channels. Now, online channels becomes essential. How do we personalize online channels? What kind of services and features we may offer to the customer which they feel are personalized? Very basic examples. Buy online, return in store. So customers are never worried. They are always confident. It sounds really easy. A package came to you, you didn't like it, you wrap it in the same box and go and hand it over to the courier or somewhere. But then actually we found we are killing an excitement of a customer. When you receive something, when you get something new, as a customer, you get excited. And that drives the emotion which is required, a sense of fulfillment which is required. But when you have to return it, actually it dents the sense of fulfillment. How to recover from there, how to compensate that. If we give an option to the customer to visit our store and return it in the store, there's a possibility to convert that into a sale and a bigger sale and get a personalized attention from our co-workers in the store and provide that sense of fulfillment towards the customer. So this is one of the examples which we can do. Click and collect, everybody knows nowadays click and collect is a staple feature, which without that no retail organization fulfills. But as it is said, but achieving that excellence in click and collect, managing the inventory in the store, not disappointing a customer saying that, oh, we exhausted the inventory, we don't have any more. So we are trying to achieve that with perfection. Newer channels, it's not only the online channel, social media channels, your mobile apps. There are a number of ways to connect with a customer. Promotional emails, newer channels which don't annoy the customer rather than give them a sense of joy, exploration, and make them happy. Because that's quite possible that you start annoying your customers by spamming them or by providing them too much information which they may not need. So that becomes essential now. One other aspect which becomes very essential is modern engineering, and especially when I say modern engineering, that is in the space of domain-driven architecture. It becomes tricky, it becomes essential. How do you achieve that modern engineering in domain-driven architecture where you are relying on out of the shelf products and then focusing on your business, focusing on customization, focusing on configuration rather than developing a solution. Morning is supporting the key customer. This was a number. I didn't want it to bug you all the people with the technical details. I want to tell you what we have achieved in last 1 year with the modern engineering. So we started implementing modern engineering in beginning of 2021, and we were able to actively integrate 35 solutions. These are the key business initiatives which were supported by modern engineering, and we saw the results in them, their velocity, their quality, their robustness. So Brilliance is one of the proud projects. If everybody knows, we are working in sustainable environment. We would like to make world better place. So we came up with in lab grown diamonds, and Brilliance was the project which was supported. Click and Collect, our new transport management systems, fraud preventions. Ship from store, Control Tower is another key project where we are collecting all the data from our supply chain and trying to have a dashboard which allow us to act proactively rather than acting on an event or an incident. To see proactively what could go wrong, where are we heading towards? Are we heading towards a disaster, or are we good in our value chain? Loyalty. Another one is clienteling, which comes from personalization. How would you know about your customer? This is a key nowadays. And as much as you know, that helps you to understand the customer better and its demand and serve them better. So clienteling was one of the projects which was supported. During that period, we were able to actively integrate 35 plus features via 50 plus APIs. This was integration. Integration is a key piece in our modern engineering. Now let's move on. DevOps and automation. What are the modern engineering goals? DevOps and automation. I discussed about the DevOps and automation in the differentiators and accelerators. We are really focused on test automation because we realized that testing takes lots and lots of time, way more time than configuring a feature or customizing a feature, because product have made this easier for us to achieve something. You just go and configure it, it's ready. But testing remains a little bit a tricky piece. So we are working on that, and we have a great plan where we see that we can actually turn around. Another piece is integration. So we found, in a nutshell, these are the three key areas to be focused in modern engineering when you are on cloud, when you are using products, when you are in domain-driven architecture. So these were the pieces. I will move on. Role of integration. Why I talk a lot of integration? Because let's talk about an example. Salesforce developed by Commerce Cloud, Salesforce developed by Salesforce. OMS is managed and maintained by IBM. Warehouse management system managed and maintained by third party. Where do we have control as an organization? We only have control. How do they talk to each other? And that's where the integration comes in. Integration layer modernization of the existing integration is a key. we cannot rely on the batches anymore. And there's a continuous talk of events and APIs. And we have realized that they both have to coexist with each other. Everything cannot be event and everything cannot be API. And in our favor, when I look into our solutions which are there in our landscape, like Sterling Commerce, they support both. So we don't have to worry about adopting either of the ways. So that makes our life easier to move on. Now a little bit talk about my favorite thing, is future architecture. This is the current piece we are working on. This is the piece which actually makes me excited about what should be the future architecture, what kind of solutions we are looking in future, when we see that where do we like to be in future with respect to our technical landscape. So as I said, we like to be simple, but how simple? So whatever solution we choose, right, it must be on the multi-tenant architecture or the single instance, but it must be on cloud. How does it help? In scalability. When we need to scale up or scale down, we don't need to do extra. It's just a matter of switching on and switching off. Serverless. We don't want to have servers anymore, right? As a service, platform as a service, functionality as a service, software as a service. But whatever is there, it must be as a service. Either we develop it or we consume it or we publish it. Doesn't matter, but it must be as a service. And as a smaller module as it could be, to give us agility, to give us modular approach. Technology, and then microservice architecture is one of them. Cloud native and cloud agnostic. And that's where we contradict each other. Just cloud agnostic achieve. It's very easy to talk to get the cloud agnostic, but it's very difficult to achieve. It has its own difficulties, I call it, when you move from one cloud to another cloud. And it becomes very difficult for an organization like us when we are actually using platforms as services, because then we are relying on the choice of a platform on which cloud they would love to be and which cloud they feel are comfortable. So these are the pieces, these are the 8 fundamentals we actually focus on. Security is a key aspect. Continuous delivery, again, we are still, let me be very honest, we are actually still struggling a bit on continuous deployment. And that's a key part of continuous delivery. Continuous integration again becomes easier, but continuous deployment is a tricky piece. So in future, we would rate all our new technologies to adopt on these 8 principles. And these are not innovated by us. These are the common industry-wise standards which we are looking forward for. Future landscape, how a future landscape should look like. And that's what we believe in Pandora. So we believe the future state architecture should be scalable. And when I say scalable, it must be future ready, which accommodates today. We should not forget today. And it should not be only for today. We should be ready for few years ahead of time. It's easier said than done, because nobody knows what will remain tangible in next few years. We can only guess, we can only actually give it our best and hope for the best. Event-driven architecture, API-first architecture, headless. Everybody is moving towards headless, and domain-driven architecture. This should be the future state architecture having these characteristics. If any architecture which has these characteristics, we believe it is future ready. We are not focused on tools and technologies on that, but tools and technologies keep changing. But we believe that this understanding will remain tangible for next few years. foundation principles, right? Modern engineering, our powered by DevOps, compliance and governance, robust platforms, and code quality. This is key. Code quality from the source is a key because most of the time in a product environment, it becomes trickier to focus on code quality from the source. Budget is a key. Again, we always talk about technology. We always talk about scalability, robustness, secure. But eventually, when we talk everything in combination, the last thing it stops at is the cost of ownership. Again, is a key aspect which we hardly talk about. Cost of ownership of any solution, of any landscape. And it is derived from the very beginning of your solution design. If you design your solution wisely, you can have a big impact on the cost of ownership. And it makes you last longer in the game. Because if your cost of ownership is not predictable, your cost of ownership is not manageable, you are not sure about your future. All the business is driven by the cost. Ensure we are on the right track. Yes, how we support the product organizations is a key. How we're going to support our product teams. How we'll make them easier to maintain their OKRs. It sounds really easy, but I can tell you with my experience, maintaining or measuring the OKRs for engineering teams is the toughest part because it doesn't have direct impact on the revenue. It has indirect impact on the revenue. How would you make sure that your calculations are correct? And again, if you have a right architecture, if you have right understanding, then you can achieve it. Otherwise, it gets more difficult over the period of time. This was me for you guys. This was Pandora, and thank you for listening. I know it's very difficult to be focused on such a long time, but thank you for your kindness. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anil. That was a really inspirational story about Pandora and your technology path. I was really excited about you to also mention that this is like the future-proof. You have to have world-class technologies to make them future-proof. Yeah, and that cost of ownership when you are doing it by yourself compared to have like the real world-class technologies, it's much more easier.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
This is the key part of being a world-class technology.
Yeah.
Yes. Good.
Any questions to Anil? Even I can translate if you wanted to do in Finnish or English is okay. Always a good one. Anyone? Let's show that we Finns are not like always muted. Please help me. But maybe there will be some. So Anil will stay online. So let's get those questions later. And now from the bigger picture to why is order management so important in this play? Because as you have already heard, the e-commerce domain is so wide and huge and large, but still the order management has a really important piece of this puzzle. So David, it's your turn to make the world better, so called.
Okay. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah.
And you can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Technology is working for me this morning. So good morning, everybody. It's a little bit early over here in the UK where I'm resident, but very pleased to be able to join Anil from Pandora and you guys from Solteq. So thanks for the opportunity to come and talk to you. So first of all, my name is David Hogg. I'm the Sterling Supply Chain Sales Leader for EMEA. So I look across many different countries, of course. And I've been working in the supply chain context for maybe 25 years, and I've been connected to this solution area that I'm going to talk about today for about 17, 18 years now. So I've seen many different scenarios, many different projects in my time. At the moment, this particular suite of products that is on this chart here, it's in the sustainability software division of IBM. We're focused on things like managing assets, physical assets in an organization. We're looking at supply chain. Obviously, I'll talk to you a bit more about that in a minute. We have software solutions that look at engineering life cycles. We actually own the weather company. That's part of our portfolio of products. We also look at establishment maintenance, so that's Tririga. And then finally, we've had a recent acquisition of a company called Envisi, which is responsible for providing dashboards into the environmental, social, and governance capabilities of an organization. So it's a very hot topic at the moment on the agenda of sustainability. So in terms of my presentation today, I'm going to look at the market trends that I'm seeing within supply chain. And I think there are many. We've experienced a whole bunch of those over the last couple of years that have just amplified the need for close attention to supply chain control, supply chain mastery, if you wish. I'll look at the IBM response to that and what we're doing in terms of providing our customers like Pandora and others great software solutions that deal with those challenges and help companies advance and become masters of their own domain. I'll look at some particular customer cases just to amplify the point. And then finally, I'll just reflect on the value that we deliver. And it's not just my words, it's actually the value that's mentioned by our customers when they come back and analyze and assess the impact of our technology in their particular domain. So that's my agenda for today. So hopefully I can get through that in a timely fashion. So what's happening in the market? What's happening generally that we hear about? So we listen to a whole range of different lines of research. We have, in fact, within IBM, our own Institute of Business Value, a bunch of consultants that go out and interview leaders in business. They talk to chief executive officers, chief financial officers, chief supply chain officers, chief retail officers, etc. People like Anil, who come and tell us about their experiences in their local domain. This slide is talking about some of the things that are happening in the consumer context. So all of us here on this meeting today, we're shoppers, right? We buy stuff. And there's been a significant shift in the last couple of years, accelerated, I would say, by the pandemic. We know it. We've seen that there's a continued trend in the use of digital channels. Obviously, everybody has a smartphone these days. They may well have a tablet. They quite often have a laptop. They can go and surf the internet, find product they'd like to bring home, and go ahead and do the shopping. So it's a significant shift that we've seen, an accelerated shift to that e-commerce channel over the last couple of years. In fact, as a consequence of that, we've seen a significant upswing or uptick, if you like, in inbound inquiries from all sorts of organizations looking to respond to that and take care of their customers. So on this chart, you'll see things like home delivery, the requirement to buy online, deliver to home, maybe even ship from store to help that out, and also increase the amount of drop shipping that's going on. And drop shipping means a well-known brand might take an order for a product, but they don't stock it themselves. They don't store it themselves in their own warehouses. They pass that order on to a third party who will then deliver it on their behalf to the customer directly. That's what we call drop ship. So there's an increased demand for that particular flavor of order fulfillment. You'll also see on the bottom half of this slide a couple of comments around values being as important as the value of the product, meaning that consumers also are very aware of, increasingly aware of, the fact that they can choose the product based upon their own sentiment. They would like to know where that product came from. They would like to know the raw materials that went into that product. is it ethically sourced? Was it actually made in a manufacturing plant that was paying their employees in the right way? Was it coming from a market which is wholesome and correct and transparent? So, you know, we listen to that, and we also, because of our extended capabilities to look across supply chains, we help our client organizations be much more able to be transparent and come up with information that they can serve to the consumers about the provenance of product. So that could be things like the provenance of food. So where did my food come from that I'm eating? Is it organic? The retailer says it's organic. Can you prove that it's organic? Can you help me trace all the way back to the source where this particular product came from and its ingredients? And we help organizations do that. Anil mentioned diamonds, ethically sourced diamonds. There are some parts of the world, sadly, where precious metals, diamonds and other things are not sensibly and ethically sourced. So we would help on ensuring that the provenance of those type of products are intact and also made available and surfaced up to the consumer. So we work in that direction as well. So this is the consumer driving behavior, and also ensuring that retailers and organizations that serve consumers and buyers of all sorts are served in the best possible way. What else is happening? Well, we see supply chain disruptions everywhere. You know, I don't need to comment on the disruption that we had during the COVID period. I mean, that's just another amplification of the stuff that's occurring all the time. We do live in a global village. We do see products being sourced from all over the world, and if it's not to do with a pandemic that's interrupting supply chain, then it'll be something else. It'll be an ash cloud from an Icelandic volcano. It could be a tsunami in the east that's disrupted the supply of silicon chips, for example. It could be a boat stuck in the Suez Canal. I was reading this morning, there's strikes occurring in the UK around the rail industry. So there's going to be supply disruptions potentially around freight traffic on the rail in the UK in the coming weeks. So there's supply chain disruptions all over the place. And I think Anil mentioned that one project that Pandora are looking at is to put in place a control tower to give that visibility and that extra level of predictive control over what's occurring in their inbound supply chain. So we help companies in that direction as well. And as you can see on this chart, things like supply chain resilience, traceability and provenance, 90% of consumer packaged goods companies, retail companies that we speak to are saying that they're looking to invest in that area, become better in that area. It could be to do with serving the customer better. It could be to do with getting better control and visibility over the supply chain overall. One way or another, it's a continuous journey that Anil mentioned, and I've experienced many different journeys over the preceding years. But right now, it's probably one of the hottest topics that we find on the market. Supply chain, is it? Even my kids now understand what supply chain is after many years of me being stuck in an office just talking on technical matters. So what is the IBM response to all of that? Well, we've basically come up with two suites of software. On the left-hand side is this business of providing intelligence around an extended ecosystem or supply chain, and within that we have some blockchain technology that helps with the provenance and traceability and provenance of product. So we have things like IBM Food Trust that organizations use to track and trace where products come from and surface that information out to the consumer. We also in that suite have supply chain control towers, and so control towers that connect together various members of the extended ecosystem. What we find is that most organizations have a reasonable understanding of their immediate supplier and what their supplier is doing at any moment in time. They can track, what's occurring on purchase orders placed, and are those purchase orders and the dates committed still on track. But when it comes to the supplier or the supplier looking further up the supply chain, second and third tier, not so much visibility. It tapers off very, very quickly. So most organizations have a good view of their immediate supplier, but pretty hopeless, honestly, about looking further up the supply chain. We help join the dots in that extended ecosystem. So, you know, we've had connectivity for years. We have electronic data interchange, EDI stuff, and so on and so forth, which is great, but that only really takes care of some of the financial aspects of supply chain, doesn't really give the insights that supply chain professionals need to surface information up in a control tower context. So we help in that direction. So alongside that, we have artificial intelligence that looks into the patterns of behavior in the supply chain and spots any anomalies that are occurring and flags those up to supply chain professionals and says, hey, you've got a problem now, or you've got a problem coming because our artificial intelligence engine has just read a Twitter feed about some political disturbance in some part of the world that will affect my part of the supply chain. So it's predicting, it's looking at patterns and predicting what's occurring in the near-term future or the medium-term future. And then it's inviting the supply chain professionals within an organization and their extended ecosystem to come together virtually in meetings like this, provide the dashboards of information and allowing them to take action on those supply chain disruptions. So that's what we mean by an intelligent control tower, having artificial intelligence absorbing, reading and surfacing that information. There's tons of it. That's why we need AI to help the supply chain professionals get the job done better, and having virtual resolution rooms to then help sort out the problem. And in those resolution rooms, we also have artificial intelligence that looks and remembers what happens on any supply chain interruption and provides recommendations of how to solve problems going forward. So today, that's all I want to say about Supply Chain Intelligence Suite. I'm happy to come and talk to anybody who wants to know more about it. From this point forward, I'm going to focus more on the Order Management Suite, which is very much what Pandora are using today as a fundamental part of their digital front office. And I'll talk to you about this a little bit more now. So let's look at the Order Management Suite in some detail. What is it? What is it doing? Why does it exist? Well, if it was the case that, if you think about the retail context, if it was the case that a shopper would place an order on a retailer and the retailer each and every time satisfies that order from a warehouse and ships it to home, that's a single channel of demand and a single channel of supply. That's pretty easy, actually. And you probably don't need a sophisticated order management solution to take care of that. However, the real world is not like that. There are multiple channels of demand and multiple channels of supply. So when you have all of these different flows of information and many different decisions and options to take, you then start to need an order management solution to do that in an automated fashion. You could obviously do it manually, but it's going to take a hell of a long time to come up with the right answer each and every time. But you would need an order management engine to automate, and inside that, a decision engine to help decide where's the best place to satisfy each and every order from. Yeah, okay, so the customer said, I want to go and pick it up from the store. Great, fine. Well, let's just make damn sure the inventory's there in the first place. So we need inventory visibility as a key component of that order management decision-making engine at the front. We call it sourcing. Where do we source the order? And with that inventory visibility, we can make those smarter decisions on ensuring that the inventory is best placed to serve the customer and take other decisions around lowest cost to deliver, lowest carbon footprint to deliver, the faster time to deliver, you know, all these many different conflicting aspects of supply chain. These are made automatically in split-second decisions within this order management engine. And then the order management engine takes care of that order management lifecycle and plots it and tracks it all the way through to final delivery and beyond. So as Anil said, we also take care of, if necessary, any return path that's needed from the shopper back to the retailer. So that's why order management exists. As I said, if it was an easy thing, you wouldn't need this extra piece of sophistication. But because it's multi-dimensional, multiple channels of supply, multiple channels of demand, we need that hub in the middle to take care of all of these things. So what's the end game here? What is the goal? Well, the goal is to have, for all of these organizations that use order management, a single view of all orders and inventory, regardless of channel. So when it comes to inventory, it could be inventory that's sitting in the warehouse for sure. It could be sitting in the store on the high street, absolutely. It could also be inventory that's coming towards us from a supplier. And we could also commit that inventory to a buyer or a shopper at a certain moment in time with a given lead time. Okay, it's going to be with us on Tuesday next week, meaning we can ship it to the customer on Wednesday. We can commit to that and make a really good promise. It could also be in some other context, again, think of the retail domain, inventory that's sitting with a franchisee or a wholesaler or an agent or somebody in the extended ecosystem, a distributor. And having that extra ability to look into that inventory stockpile as well gives an extra line of value to serving the customer better and making sure that all of the inventory across the ecosystem is maximized and optimized. Having this single view of orders and inventory enables an organization to simplify how they would interact with the customer. And I know Anil and his team and the people around Pandora have been working very hard on examining the customer journey, the shopper journey, the interaction and touch points with Pandora. And order management is very much in the middle of all of that. So it's not just the e-commerce engine at the front, the Salesforce commerce cloud that they're using, but also the order management system behind. So if for example, if the shopper places an order online and then they change their mind and say, oh yeah, maybe I need to go and have a look at this product, I want to go and pick it up in store rather than having it shipped to home, they can change their mind. And that would mean an interaction with order management to change the source of delivery and also maybe even change dates, change quantities, change product. So there's things like call centers in here that allow the Pandora folks to go and change on behalf of the customer what they want to buy and how they want to get the product. The bottom line is we're looking to achieve a perfect order scenario. Each and every order is perfectly handled and perfectly managed. That's the destination. 100% of the time, the promise that was given will be met and honoured. Manage that complexity and provide the omni-channel capability that I mentioned. Finally, because we're IBM and because we deliver this on cloud, as Anil mentioned, he doesn't have to worry about scalability. We do the heavy lifting on that. We take care of it. We look ahead on things like events occurring coming up. Pandora are very close to, as many retailers are, very close to situations of their own making and situations of the market that made peaks of activity that occur. So we all know about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That's something that's washed across the world now. So organizations have to get ready for that peak. There's also a peak running up to Christmas. There's a peak around things like Valentine's Day for Pandora. There's a peak in China called Singles Day, which is 1st of November, 1/1/1. So there's all sorts of different peaks that occur, and we take care of making sure that organizations like Pandora can depend upon us to scale up to those type of peaks as they occur. So just looking into some of our clients who use this platform, these are some of the organizations who've been who've gone to market and made some statements around what they've achieved, and I can kind of categorize it into 4 key areas, the benefits of order management for these organizations. The first one is about visibility of inventory. If you can get that visibility, then you can start to do some pretty cool things. You can start to optimize the use of that inventory. As you can see on here, it's about using all of the inventory in a smart way, and in fact also potentially reducing inventory. So instead of having inventory just in case, we have inventory which is serving the market in a much better way, smarter way, because we're exposing where the inventory is at every moment in time. And what we're able to do with our inventory visibility offering is really capture real-time status. So if as an organization you're able to feed in from whatever system that's managing that inventory, the real-time status, we will reflect that in our inventory visibility layer and make that available to whatever part of the organization is requiring it, whether it's a fulfillment decision within order management or whether it's a shopper online wanting to know what item is in stock and where. And we can surface that up into the e-commerce engine when they're browsing for, in the Pandora's case, maybe a nice bracelet. Oh, well, I'd like to look at that bracelet. Where is it? Can I get it? Okay, it's available in this store. There's quantity 7. There's available in that store. Quantity 3. It's available in the warehouse, delivered at home. Quantity 50. And Pandora can surface that to their shopper if they wish to, and therefore, as a consequence, make a better promise. So with that inventory, with that real-time inventory visibility, some pretty impressive things can be done. And if you can reduce your inventory by 15%, like Lowe's did, you can pay for your project and all of the ownership of this solution very, very quickly indeed. Of course, it's about the omnichannel experience. It's about connecting and joining the dots on the shopper journey. As I mentioned, it's not just about the front end e-commerce engine. It's about also the call center when people call in and want to speak to the brand. And it's about things like returns. It's about things like buy online, pick up in store, and how that also impacts the ability to engage more with the customer. And I think Anil said it well. If you can do click and collect, then you can drive some customer traffic to the store. And we've seen in some brands that's enabled some of the retailers to drive even more better shopper experience and consequently more orders and more revenue as a consequence. And organizations like Walmart have indicated that they've got 4.5 times increase in customer lifetime value just by having that click and collect experience. And we're also able to scale for peak. I mean, yes, we deal with the large organizations. We also deal with the smaller organizations, but just rest assured that we scale correctly for those organizations as needed. And Anna will tell you that we have a dedicated client success manager who works alongside Pandora, has monthly meetings with them just to understand what's the future direction, what marketing events are coming up that we need to take care of. Is there any peak that we expect to see in the next 2-3 month time frame that we need to look out for? So just to give you a sense of where we've been with this solution set, it's been on the market for many years now, and we've learned a lot along the way. As Anil said, it's a journey. We've had many different journeys over time. When we started out with this solution, there wasn't a thing called omni-channel retail. It now is very much a thing, and it's an aspiration for all retailers, the mastery of omni-channel. And we've helped all of these organizations and many more. We're around about 250 retail clients at this moment in time. We're approaching 60 clients on our SaaS platform, which is relatively new. It's been out on the market about 4 years now, 5 years. And we do have that multi-tenancy that Anna was referring to. And we also deal with multiple markets, multiple regions, multiple languages, multiple currencies, all of that good stuff. So if there's an organization you'd like to talk to as a reference that's similar to you, we've probably got it somewhere in our library of organizations that we serve. I won't talk much about this particular chart. It's just to say that over time we've built out a very comprehensive set of capabilities, not only just about looking at inventory and having that order management decision engine, but also elaborating on the call center I mentioned, and then also driving into the store. So we have store applications that help the store associate do things like pick, pack, and get ready for pickup the item that a shopper bought online just now, or even pick, pack, and ship from store, those type of things. We also have a clienteling application which allows the store associate in the store to stand alongside the shopper and buy a product which isn't physically available in the store, but it's like an e-commerce engine dedicated for the store associate. We also handle returns. We also have a configure, price, and quote capability, which is more for the, I would say, potentially for the industrial market, but also we see in the consumer packaged goods area where you have customized items for configuration. We use that as well as an optional extra. So this chart is just reflecting on the 6 key use cases that most retailers would look to establish. I won't dwell on this slide, but too much, but just to reflect on what a project might look like. Top left corner, it's about inventory. You've got to have a visibility of inventory before you can do anything else, really. So that would typically be the first thing that's done. Switch on this inventory visibility layer. In the middle is about making the promise and keeping the promise. So handling on-time delivery, getting alerts sent out, keep everybody informed about each and every order line to the shopper, to the supply chain professionals within the organization that are responsible for delivering to the customer. So we have an event management and alerting engine just to make sure that that order is being executed properly. On the top right is about the ability to change orders. Anybody on the call here who's looked into order management, you might find solutions that can do order management, but they're particularly not good typically on ability to change. We enable that. I mean, it's easy to say, not always easy to do. And we have a bunch of software that handles that change condition. On the bottom row, we've enabled the store. I already mentioned that. And on the bottom right, we even have a special module that deals with special type of deliveries, including services. So, for example, an organization selling telecommunications equipment, maybe Ansi, you were buying a mobile device, and at the same time you bought the package of data, and you bought the package of broadband, and you need a fiber connection to your home. Well, the telecommunications company has to do a whole bunch of things. They have to ship you the mobile device. They have to switch on the digital asset, which is the data pack. They have to alert a third party to go and install the fiber cable in your house, and there's a service around that. Maybe even you if you're a business, you might subscribe to their financial service as well. So there's another virtual product which they're selling. So we take care of all of those things: physical, digital, and service type goods going out to the buyer. This chart I borrowed from one of our customers. It's a company called Yux Net-a-Porter, or YNAP. Yux are an online retailer, fashion retailer, and they provide this menu of services within their organization, but they also offer this out to other brands. So, excuse me. So they offer this out as a service to other organizations like Valentino, like Montblanc, like Clarins, and others, and they do the IT work on behalf of these brands who want to then take their product to market, and they buy a bunch of these services as microservices as a collection of omni-channel capabilities. So I quite like this chart because it reflects the what's happening in the fashion world and how they use sensibly our order management solution. Of course, we deal with the big guys. So just down the road in Sweden, one of our long-term customers have been very busy using order management around the world. One platform to serve 52 countries, and it's growing. It's even more than that now. Over 500 stores these days, and we've plugged into all of those different organizations across the IKEA network. Fantastic project, really extending out their omni-channel experience, and they are becoming masters of that. I know that when I first started shopping from IKEA, they had a very separate organization looking after e-commerce compared to their physical store, but they're harmonizing all of that and getting a very much joined up experience for the shopper at last. We also provide intelligence in here. I mentioned about artificial intelligence. We have solutions in here which go even further than regular sourcing decisions. We have a fulfillment optimizer which looks at how looks at maybe some less than intuitive ways of how fulfillment could be done when there are many options. This fulfillment optimizer can crunch information super fast and come up with an even better answer. So right now we're working with Adidas across Europe. They're rolling this AI tool across their extended network and yielding significant gains in reduction in expedited material, reduction in transport costs, and again optimizing the use of their inventory and their network. So I'd commend you to talk to me later if you want to about the Adidas experience and others who are using artificial intelligence in this smart way. And we're not just dealing with the big guys. We very happily deal with what we would call the mid-market retail, mid-market consumer packaged goods. This last 2 years, I have had a significant upswing in not only the mid-market, but also consumer packaged goods companies who want to go direct to consumer. And some of these organizations are in a big hurry because they are a little bit behind the curve. They've been trying to struggle with some of their existing systems which don't quite cut it. And I can just testify to the fact that we now know how to deliver this stuff very fast. We have our SaaS solution. We have what we call an essentials solution, which is a slightly cut down and even faster and lighter weight product to sell in the market. And as you can see on this chart, we can get up and running in 10 to 12 weeks. So it's measured in weeks, not months or years, and very much more affordable than it's ever been in the past. We also have a big range of business partners who can deliver, and Solteq is right in the middle of that slide there, serving the Nordics in a very comprehensive and expert way. Birkenstock was a successfully delivered project during the pandemic, remotely in fact, and this was delivered in less than 100 days to take care of their needs in North America. So just an example of the fact we deal with the mid-market and we do it at speed. We also deal with scale. So our SaaS platform, when all added up, deals with huge numbers of orders per day. And this is just a snapshot of what happened in 2020, the Black Friday week. So we were monitoring what's happening leading up to that Black Friday. This is on the Tuesday after the Black Friday. By then, we'd seen around about 2.9 million orders per day, with a lot of those going in buy online, pick up in store. So just to testify, to the scalability that we're able to do. And at the bottom there, it talks about the Net Promoter Score, 91 out of 100. I've not seen that before. That is amazing. It's pretty much 100% uptime, and these organizations depended upon this platform, mission critical for their sales, mission critical for their customers. And here's one, a £2 billion company turnover. They are online only. They were a catalogue company once, the Very Group in the UK. Again, can testify to how this SaaS platform serves their needs. They are very smart. They've actually got to the point where they can control their own destiny now. They embarked on a project in the last 6 months to bring on board a new tier of dropship capability with some Adidas products and Reebok products. So a very successful organization, again, testimonial to what's achievable with order management and elaborating their omni-channel experiences. What I like about them also is they're offering, place an order now and it will be dispatched to you within 30 minutes. That's pretty impressive. And they definitely promise for next day pickup in store, or even this afternoon pickup in store. They got it to it now. If you place an order before midday, being picked up in store this afternoon. So pretty good. Finally, just a few words on sustainability. So we're busy in this area as well. We know it's a key part of everybody's agenda. We've been very much looking at the impact of supply chain on sustainability and how we can be smarter about providing decision-making engines that reflect on the demands of sustainability. So if you look at this, there's a range of things that we look at, and we're working on right now product carbon footprint as a key driver for decision-making. So for example, if ANSI was to place an order for something, there are many different options of how that order could be fulfilled. It could be shipped from the warehouse, it could be shipped from a store nearby. And we take all of these factors into consideration around cost, time, and now also product carbon footprint. So I think that's a particularly useful extension. So this is right now in our design workshop. It'll be released, we're hoping, towards the end of this year as an extended set of decision-making engines around product carbon footprint. So you can see some of the designs on here, some of the dashboards that are making it easy for people to understand. And if you look at the chart in the middle right, you'll see even it takes into account information supplied by the carriers and which carrier is the greenest. And I can just see in my mind's eye how the retailer might surface its information out to the shopper. So ANSI might be saying, oh, let me pick the greenest carrier. I don't mind that it's going to be 2 days later, but I want the greenest option. Thank you very much. And then ensure that that shopper demand is met by the retailer. So I often get asked, so what would you do next? What would you suggest is the next thing that could be done here? Well, we do offer a service in the right circumstances at our expense to examine what would be the financial impact. What is the value of this solution set? So in summary, it looks at operational efficiency and cost savings, and also so that's the reduction in cost burden, and also looks at the upside. What's the impact on revenue if you get these things right? So these percentages, as you can see on this screen, are real figures coming from real customers who've deployed this solution in their omnichannel world. So we use that library of information that we've harvested over time and would apply it to any particular customer situation and make it unique and visible for them. Sometimes it helps with their business case if they can't quite articulate the fact that they need to have omnichannel excellence. What does that mean financially? Well, we'll help you work it out for you. So that's it. That's my presentation, ANSI. So quick, rapid run through what order management does. Hopefully gives a little flavor of some of the stuff we've been working on over time.
Thank you, David. Sorry, doing some funny. But one comment. Actually, I was yesterday on a seminar or event with Adobe in Stockholm, and Adidas was saying and telling the story about the future-proof technologies. They were mentioning about your Sterling. In that sense, that when you are doing when you are buying Adidas sneakers from their commerce platform, then you can get your digital copy for your avatar at the same time they are delivering the sneakers to you to your home. I was like amazed. I don't understand anything about avatars, but that just tells the story about that, how you have to be like a future-proof all the time. So
yeah, you're right. I mean, they have to keep inventing themselves and reinventing themselves. So, I mean, talking to Adidas, I was in a workshop with Adidas a couple of weeks ago, and they were looking very closely at bringing on more channels of engagement, looking at some of the the local markets, e-markets in China, for example, looking at Instagram, all the different social media channels, as well as traditional e-commerce engines and so on. So yeah, got to keep reinventing yourself. Absolutely.
So any questions to David? I have been informed that somebody has had some problems with the chat. So if you don't see the chat there, so then you need to just speak up when making the questions. Okay. David will stay also on the line, so whenever you have something, then please just raise up your hand or make the chat conversation there. And now we are changing to Finnish. So Janne, olepas hyvä. Kerropas meidän kevään tulokset, mitä me ollaan IBM:n kanssa nyt harjoiteltu tähän tulevaisuuden haltuunottoa varten. Eli nyt käydään läpi se, mitä me ollaan IBM:n kanssa tehty tässä kevään aikana ja tarjontaa vähän tänne Suomen markkinaan uudenlaista tapaa tehdä.
Kyllä, kiitoksia. Kiitoksia Anssi. Mä varmistan ensin, kuuluuhan mun ääni hyvin sinne.
Kyllä.
Erinomaista. Hyvä, joo, hyvää aamupäivää kaikille munkin puolesta. Ja kuten Anssi sanoi, aivan mahtavaa päästä nyt seuraavaksi esittelemään sitten tätä meidän uutta Solteq Cloud Order Management -tuotetta teille kaikille. Mutta ennen kuin hypätään itse aiheeseen, niin muutamalla sanalla ensin itsestäni. Eli mun nimi on tosiaan Janne Rantanen, tuun täältä Solteqilta ja vastaan meidän Enabling Solutions -liiketoiminnasta. Ja tähän rooliin nyt hyppäsin viime vuoden loppupuolella ja oikeastaan siitä asti ollaan nyt sitten tätä order managementia myöskin sitten viety eteenpäin. Ja Solteqilla yhteensä takana vajaa 3 vuotta. Muuta, niin pitkälti koko työura mennyt digitaalisten palveluiden parissa, paljon verkkokauppaa, mutta myöskin verkkokauppaan liittyviä tavallaan oheispalveluita, order managementia, tuotetiedonhallintaan niin poispäin. Valmistunut Hankkinilta vajaa 10 vuotta sitten ja perheeseen kuuluu vaimo ja 2 poikaa. Alvar 1,5-vuotias ja Edvin 4-vuotias pitää mut sitten kiireisenä iltaisin. Hyvä, mutta mennään tähän seuraavaan noin puolituntiseen ja agendaan, mitä me ollaan käymässä tässä läpi. Eli tuossa on kolme tiukkaa otsikkoa, mitä on tarkoitus tuossa yhdessä käydä läpi. Eli avaan teille ensin vähän tavallaan niitä taustoja, että minkä takia me nyt ylipäätänsä lähdettiin tämmöistä tietyllä tavalla uutta lähestymiskulmaa tähän order managementiin tuomaan. Sitten sen jälkeen niin itse pihvi, eli käydään läpi, mitä tämä meidän uusi Solteq Cloud Order Management nyt pitää sisällään. Eli käydään läpi tavallaan sitä lähestymistapaa, sitä tavallaan, mitä kaikkia me ollaan tähän nyt paketoitu ja tuotu tähän tämän Solteq Cloud Order Managementin ympärille. Ja sitten mä näytän myöskin vähän esimerkkiaikataulua käyttöönotosta ja sitten myöskin hinnoittelusta vähän esimerkkiä. Uskon, että se myöskin kuulijoita kiinnostaa. Ja sitten lopuksi vielä vähän tuosta meidän osaamisesta ja kokemuksesta muutamalla sanalla tästä domainista. Näin. Mutta kuten sanoin, niin ennen kuin nyt hyppään tästä eteenpäin vielä, niin me ollaan tosiaan pitkä matka tässä kuljettu viime vuoden loppupuolelta ja itse asiassa tässä vaiheessa jo niin haluan kiittää IBM, Ollia ja Juhaa tästä tähänastisesta matkasta, hienosta yhteistyöstä ja sitten meidän puolelta tässä on ollut toistakymmentä ihmistä mahdollistamassa tätä, joten teille kaikille iso kiitos, jotka olette jollain tavalla tässä mukana olleet ja erityisesti sitten Matti ja Anssi tietysti etunenässä. Hyvä. Mutta sitten, eli minkä takia me lähdettiin kehittämään tätä meidän uutta Order Management-tuotetta? Ja käytännössä tässä oli 2 teemaa, mitkä sai meidät ajattelemaan vähän uudella tavalla koko tätä order management-aluetta. Ja ensimmäinen liittyy siihen, että digiostaminen on kasvanut voimakkaasti viime vuosina. Eli tässä on nyt hieman tilastoja Kaupan liitolta, miten digiostaminen on kehittynyt Suomessa. Ja jos mennään tuohon alkuvuoteen 2020, niin jokainen muistaa, kun tietysti covid iski päälle ja sitä myöten niin yhteiskunta alettiin myöskin sitten sulkemaan, mikä sitten tavallaan periaatteessa ajoi ihmisiä, tai ihmiset siirtyivät sitten vahvemmin ja vahvemmin verkkoon kuluttamaan, ja tässä se toki myöskin näkyy. Mutta käytännössä mitä se sitten ihan konkreettisesti piti sisällään yritysten näkökulmasta, niin käytännössähän se tarkoitti sitä, että kun myynti on siirtynyt verkkoon, niin tilausmäärät kasvaa, ja tavallaan kun tilausmäärät kasvaa, niin yritysten piti reagoida ja vastata tavallaan yhä suurempiin tilausmääriin, jolloin käytännössä keskiöön nousi se tilaus- ja toimitusketjun hallinta, ja käytännössä korostui siinä yhteydessä sitten. Ja näin tavallaan tätä vasten peilaten, niin omalta osalta me totta kai nähtiin, että me halutaan ehdottomasti olla entistä vahvemmin vielä mukana tässä tukemassa ja tietyllä tavalla ratkaisemassa tätä haastetta meidän asiakkaille. Sitten toinen asia, joka vahvasti ajoi meitä tarkastelemaan tätä order management-markkinaa vähän uusin silmin, oli käytännössä se, kun me alettiin pohtia, kuten Anssi tuossa introssakin nosti, että minkä takia ehkä tässä markkinassa, missä me toimitaan, puhutaan lähtökohtaisesti pohjoismaisella tasolla, niin minkä takia täällä ei näitä järjestelmiä ehkä kuitenkaan sitten ole vielä laajemmin käytössä. Kun kuitenkin order management ratkaisuna itsessään tuo paljon vastauksia niihin kysymyksiin, mitä yritykset muutenkin pyrkivät tavallaan taklaamaan, eli käytännössä parantamaan asiakaskokemusta, ensimmäinen asia, sitä kautta lisäämään myyntiä, ja sitten kolmanneksi tietysti kriittisesti koko ajan pyritään omia prosesseja kehittämään ja sitä kautta tuomaan niin kuin kustannussäästöjä siihen tekemiseen. Ja kuten sanottu, niin order management omalta osaltaan niin myöskin vastaa näihin kysymyksiin, eli asiakaskokemusta pystytään parantamaan monella eri tavalla. Esimerkiksi annetaan kuluttajalle mahdollisuus lisätä tuotteita johonkin tiettyyn tilaukseen sen jälkeen, kun transaktio on tehty. Eli jos olet ostanut esimerkiksi tuotteen, huomaat myöhemmin, että ai niin, nyt tämä ja tämä unohtui vielä tavallaan tässä ostoksen yhteydessä ostaa, niin sen pystyy sitten jälkikäteen lisäämään vielä tilaukseen ja tavallaan sitten saamaan kaikki tilaukset kerralla toimitettua esimerkiksi sitten kotiin. Myyntiä pystytään kasvattamaan erilaisilla keinoilla. Order management tukee sitä, että saadaan myymäläsaldot verkkoon läpinäkyvästi tai sitten nimenomaan tehostamalla yrityksen prosesseja ja säästämään kuluissa, esimerkiksi optimoimalla sitten toimitusvaihtoehtoja. Ja siihenkin voidaan tuoda elementtejä, mitä esimerkiksi David nostikin esille, eli kestävästä kehityksestä, jolloin käytännössä, jos kuluttaja valitsee, että haluan tavallaan valita toimitustavan, joka tukee kestävää kehitystä, niin saattaa olla, että se toimitus kestää muutaman päivän, 3 päivää, mutta se on silloin tavallaan kestävän kehityksen pohjalla, ja silloin toisaalta yrityksille itselleen jää aikaa optimoida sitä toimitusketjua. Mutta edelleen tosiaan niin se kysymys sitten, että minkä takia näitä ratkaisuja ei kuitenkaan ole laajemmin käytössä, ja ehkä markkinassa ei myöskään niin voimakkaasti näistä puhuta, niin tätä me lähdimme selvittämään nyt sitten enemmän, ja me keskusteltiin paljon asiakkaiden kanssa, eri asiantuntijoiden kanssa, teknologiatoimittajien kanssa, tehtiin markkinatutkimuksia, ja tästä pikkuhiljaa alkoi sitten syntymään semmoinen kokonaiskuva tavallaan, että tietysti mikä se nykytilanne on, mutta myöskin mikä tämmöisen uuden tyyppisen palvelun pitäisi pitää sisällään. Ja näiden ajatusten tavallaan myötä sitten niin meille rakentui 3, voisi sanoa semmoista pääteemaa, jonka ympärillä me tätä palvelua lähdettiin kehittämään. Ja nämä 3 tavallaan teemaa, jonka ympärillä tämä sitten rakentui, niin oli kustannustehokkuus. Eli selkeästi nähtiin, että on markkinoilla tarve tämmöiselle kustannustehokkaalle ratkaisulle. Eli paljon markkinoilla on niin kuin tarjolla, kun me puhutaan order managementista, niin enterprise-tason ratkaisuja. Mutta kun me päästään enterprise-tason ratkaisuun, niin yleensä lisenssit tietysti ovat suht hintavia ja sitten myöskin se käyttöönotto itsessään, niin se vaatii aika isoja kertainvestointeja. Eli me selkeästi nähtiin, että markkinoilla olisi tarve tämmöiselle hyvin kustannustehokkaalle ratkaisulle. Ja toki myöskin markkinoilla on olemassa niin kuin kevyempiä ratkaisuja, mutta hyvin usein niin ehkä näiden haaste on sitten se, että nämä ei ole standalone ratkaisuja. Eli käytännössä nämä on yleensä ratkaisuja, jotka on jollain tavalla kytketty esimerkiksi sitten johonkin verkkokauppa-alustaan, joka sitten omalta osaltaan tuo hieman haasteita ehkä mukanaan. Mutta joo, kustannustehokas oli yksi vallitseva teema. Sitten seuraava teema oli skaalautuvuus. Eli selkeästi nähtiin tarvetta sellaiselle ratkaisulle myöskin, että kun liiketoiminta kasvaa ja kehittyy, niin järjestelmän pitää myöskin olla skaalautuva. Ja tämä on nyt sinänsä ihan loogista ja luonnollistakin. Eli kun yritykset investoivat uusiin järjestelmiin, niin totta kai lasketaan auki elinkaarikustannuksia ja mietitään, että miten se kyseinen ratkaisu sitten istuu esimerkiksi siihen strategiaan. Ja jos on odotettavissa isoa kasvua, niin totta kai mietitään, että miten se sitten skaalautuu sen liiketoiminnan mukana. Eli tämä oli toinen semmoinen iso tavallaan vallitseva teema. Ja sitten 3. teema niin oli SaaS. Eli hyvin paljon tavallaan kuultiin myöskin sitä, että palvelua mieluiten haluttaisiin ostaa SaaSina. Ja sinänsä tämä on ihan ymmärrettävää, koska jos me mietitään tätä kokonaisuutta, niin SaaSin hyödythän on se, että yrityksen ei välttämättä tarvitse itse sitten olla ihan läpikotaisin asiantuntija siinä domainissa, vaan voi oikeastaan keskittyä ja kanavoida jollain tavalla sen niin kuin oman tekemisen siihen liiketoiminnan ja nimenomaan sen liiketoiminnan kehittämiseen sen palvelun kautta, kun se itse palvelun ylläpito tulee sitten muualta. Ja nämä oli ne 3 oikeastaan vallitsevaa teemaa, jonka ympäriltä tätä lähdettiin nyt sitten kehittämään. Ja taustasta niin hypätään itse sitten tuohon itse Solteq Cloud Order Management -esittelyyn, eli mitä se pitää sisällään. Ja se näyttää nyt sitten tältä. Eli kuten sanoin, niin me ollaan nyt kuunneltu asiakkaita ja tuodaan nyt tässä hetkessä tavallaan kustannustehokas, skaalautuva ratkaisu, joka on kaiken lisäksi vielä SaaS-pohjainen. Ja nyt jos me katsotaan tätä tuotetta niin kuin isossa kuvassa, niin tämä pohjautuu täysin IBM:n Sterling-teknologiaan, joka on maailman edistyksellisin teknologia, kun me puhutaan order managementista, ja aikaisemmissa puheenvuoroissa hyvin nostettiinkin jo esille kuinka kehittyneestä tavallaan teknologiasta on kyse. Ja tämä varmistaa nyt sen, että meillä on hyvin tavallaan maturi tavallaan teknologia taustalla. Myöskin se, että liikkeelle lähtö on tavallaan nopeata ja tehokasta, kuitenkin niin, että kustannukset on maltillisia, kuten sanoin noista teemoista aikaisemmin, ja sitten kun meillä on tämä teknologia pohjalla, niin tämä nimenomaan skaalautuu liiketoiminnan tarpeiden mukaan ja kasvun mukaan sitten. Mutta vähän pureudutaan, että mitä tämä pitää tarkemmin sisällään, ja lähdetään, mä en tiedä näkyykö tämä mun hiiri täällä nyt, mutta lähdetään tuosta vasemmasta yläkulmasta liikkeelle, eli tästä Solteq Connector-laatikosta. Isossa kuvassa, kun me puhutaan, kuten aikaisemmissa puheenvuorossakin nousi esille, niin kun me puhutaan order management-ratkaisuista, niin integraatiot on hyvin keskiössä tavallaan tässä kokonaisuudessa. Ja se johtuu siitä, että me halutaan saada tietysti saatavuustietoja esimerkiksi tänne järjestelmään toimitettua, joka tarkoittaa, että me integroidutaan ehkä toiminnanohjausjärjestelmiin, tietysti verkkokauppaan integroidutaan, mahdollisesti johonkin supply chain järjestelmään ja niin poispäin. Eli käytännössä integroitavuus on hyvin keskiössä, kun me puhutaan order management järjestelmistä. Ja sen takia me haluttiin tuoda, ja tavallaan helpottaaksemme tätä integroitumista, niin me haluttiin tuoda meidän oma Solteq Connector osaksi tätä meidän ratkaisua. Ja tämä Solteq Connector on käytännössä jo vuosikausia meillä Solteqilla kehitetty tämmöinen integraatioratkaisu, missä meillä on valmiina yli 70 liittymää eri järjestelmien välillä. Ja kuten sanoin, niin tämä mahdollistaa sen, että me pystytään helposti ja ketterästi sitten integroitumaan eri järjestelmien välille. Sitten jos siirrytään tästä oikealle, eli tämän Solteq Cloud Order Management laatikon sisälle, niin tässä nähdään nyt sitten kuusi tavallaan teemaa tämän laatikon sisällä. Ja tämä on tavallaan nyt sitten se kokonaisuus, mitä tämä meidän palvelu pitää sisällään. Eli tämä on se paketti, mistä me aina lähdetään liikkeelle. Ja nyt kun me mietitään, että minkä takia nämä tietyt tavallaan teemat on tänne valikoitunut, niin painopiste ja ajatus meillä tässä taustalla on ollut se, että tällä me tavallaan mahdollistetaan, kun me nämä tavallaan teemat tai elementit ollaan tänne aloituspakettiin tuotu, niin tällä me nimenomaan mahdollistetaan se cross-channel myynti verkossa, plus sitten se itse fulfillment, eli tavallaan tilausten toimitus sitten. Ja jos me katsotaan vähän tarkemmin, että mitä tämä pitää sisällään, ja aloitetaan tuosta starter packageista, niin tämä on käytännössä semmoinen kokonaisuus, joka tarjoaa meille todella nopean liikkeelle lähdön. Eli tämä pitää käytännössä sisällään valmiit määrittelymallit, miten me halutaan tätä järjestelmää määritellä, ja esimerkiksi myöskin retail-liiketoimintaan sopivia lähtökonfiguraatioita ja niin poispäin. Eli käytännössä semmoinen kokonaisuus, joka varmistaa, että hyvin ketterästi päästään niin kuin liikkeelle. Sitten jos me siirrytään tuosta oikealle, inventory visibility, niin käytännössä tämä liittyy saatavuustietoihin, eli pystytään kokoamaan saatavuustiedot sieltä oman yrityksen kokonaisarkkitehtuurista, ja tässä tietysti integraatiot ja integroitavuus on keskiössä, ja kuten sanoin, niin tässä myöskin tämä Solteq Connector hyvin paljon auttaa sitten, kun integraatiota tehdään. Siitä kun me siirrytään seuraavaan, eli fulfillmenttiin, niin käytännössä tämä pitää sisällään sitten sen toimittamisen ja toimituksen optimoinnin, eli esimerkiksi se, että me saadaan tuotua verkkokauppaan myymällä saldot myöskin läpinäkyväksi sitten. Sitten customer pickup in store, eli käytännössä se, että verkkokaupassa ostetaan ja kaupassa keräillään. Ja sitten päästään tuohon pickup orders in store. Ja siinä, anteeksi, nyt tuossa, otetaan vielä takaisin, meni sekaisin. Eli Customer Pickup in Store, eli Click and Collect käytännössä puhutaan siitä. Eli ostat verkossa ja pystyt noutamaan myymälässä, eli hyvin tämä perus Click and Collect-konsepti. Ja saattaa myöskin olla se tilanne, että haluat kuluttajana tilata verkosta ja noutaa myymälästä, mutta myymälässä ei välttämättä ole juuri sitä tuotetta suoraan saatavilla, eli sitten pystytään tilaamaan esimerkiksi toisesta myymälästä sinne haluttuun myymälään tai keskusvarastoon, jolloin se voi sen jälkeen sitten käydä kuluttajan noutamassa. Ja sitten tosiaan tämä Pick Orders in Store ja Ship from Store liittyvät hyvin vahvasti toisiinsa, eli nimenomaan se, että voidaan mahdollistaa tämä myymäläkeräys, eli ostetaan verkossa, mutta nimenomaan saadaan myymälät ja myymälöiden saldot mukaan tavallaan sinne verkkoon läpinäkyväksi, joka käytännössä tarkoittaa sitä, että jos verkossa myydään, niin enää ei tarvitse myydä keskusvaraston kautta tai jos on erillinen verkkokauppavarasto, vaan nimenomaan saadaan myymälöiden saldot myöskin mukaan. Ja käytännössä tämä pitää sisällään sen, että silloin halutussa myymälässä sitä keräilyä tehdään ja kun se on tehty, niin sen jälkeen se sitten lähetetään tästä kyseisestä myymälästä eteenpäin. Ja Ship from Store tietysti pitää myöskin tavallaan sisällään sen, että tavallaan hallitaan niitä tilauksia ja sen orkestrointia. Eli saattaa olla tilanne, että me halutaan kerätä useammasta eri myymälästä sitten tuotteita ja kerätä ne yhteen ennen kuin ne sitten lähetetään eteenpäin. Näin. Sitten additional capabilities, eli nyt kun me lähdetään tavallaan käyttöön ottamaan tätä Solteq Cloud Order Managementia, niin sen mukana tulee myöskin paljon muita kyvykkyyksiä. Nämä on sitten kyvykkyyksiä käytännössä, mitä me voidaan jatkokehittää sen ensimmäisen käyttöönoton jälkeen. Ja tämä pitää sitten sisällään muun muassa esimerkinomaisesti tässä nyt dropshippia, eli käytännössä suoratoimitukset tavarantoimittajilta. Eli jos teillä on tavarantoimittaja, jolla on varasto jossain, niin pystytte sitä varastoa hyödyntämällä sitten suoraan, tai pystytään suoraan ne toimitukset sieltä toimittamaan sitten loppuasiakkaalle. Sitten cross-channel returns, eli käytännössä ostat verkosta, palautat myymälään esimerkkinä. Sitten call center, eli käytännössä on olemassa myöskin asiakaspalvelutyökalu, mitä voidaan hyödyntää asiakaspalvelun puolella. Eli jos esimerkiksi sanotaan, että yrityksellä on olemassa oleva asiakaspalvelujärjestelmä, mikä sinänsä on tyypillistä, niin Order Management pystyy myöskin kytkemään tähän palveluun, joka käytännössä tarkoittaa sen, että jos yrityksen asiakas on yhteydessä asiakaspalveluun, niin haluaa esimerkiksi tietää, missä oma tilaus tällä hetkellä liikkuu, niin asiakaspalvelu saa siitä sitten suoraan tiedon. Eli tämä myöskin liittyy vahvasti tämmöiseen tietysti asiakaskokemukseen ja asiakaskokemuksen parantamiseen. Ja tietysti Order Managementissa on mukana myöskin erillinen mahdollisuusoptio tämmöiselle call center toiminnalle, jos sellaiselle on tarvetta. Sitten Purchase Orders, Visibility and Integration Point, eli käytännössä tässä on kyse ostotilauksista ja siitä, että ostotilaukset kulkee Order Managementin läpi. Ja tässä tavallaan kaksi ulottuvuutta, eli ostotilauksia voi periaatteessa hyödyntää saatavuutena, eli jos meillä on tiedossa esimerkiksi joku päivämäärä, milloin meillä on tuote tulossa, niin voidaan myydä tulevaa saldoa. Tai sitten saattaa olla, kuten tuossa Davidkin nosti esille, että halutaan integroitua johonkin supply chain järjestelmään, mistä ostotilauksia sitten ylläpidetään. Ja tavallaan tällä tavalla saadaan myöskin optimoitua sitten sitä varaston hyödynnettävyyttä. Mutta tämä on niin kuin se kokonaisuus, mitä tämän Solteq Cloud Order Managementin mukana tulee. ja nimenomaan fokus tässä keskellä ylhäällä ensimmäisessä vaiheessa. Sitten meillä on liutapalveluita, mitä me myöskin tarjotaan, eli Broad Experience in Digital Retail. Te, jotka tunnette Solteqin, niin meillähän on pitkät perinteet nimenomaan retailin puolelta. Ja tavallaan tämä myöskin mahdollistaa tai takaa sen, että me pystytään näkemään tätä maailmaa myöskin tämän itse order managementin ulkopuolelta aika hyvin, joka käytännössä auttaa meidän asiakkaita myöskin käyttöönotossa. Eli pystytään tavallaan hyödyntämään sitä meidän asiantuntijuutta laajemmin kuin pelkästään tämän niin kuin domainin osalta. Sitten tämä Solteq Cloud Order Management, tämä on single tenant SaaS-ratkaisu, eli jokaisella asiakkaalla on oma palvelu eikä resursseja jaeta. Sitten nämä kaksi seuraavaa liittyy vahvasti yhteen, eli tämä perustuu OpenShift-arkkitehtuuriin. Ja käytännössä tämä tarkoittaa nyt sitä, että tämä mahdollistaa sen, että tämä palvelu voidaan siirtää ihan mihin tahansa ympäristöön sitten, jos tarve joskus vaatii. Ja se liittyy tähän migration pathiin sillä tavalla, että me ollaan tässä huomioitu nyt se, että mikäli liiketoiminta kasvaa todella voimakkaasti, mitä me tietysti toivotaan, niin tässä on olemassa myöskin se vaihtoehto, että tämä sitten siirtyy jossain vaiheessa, mikäli nähdään se järkeväksi, niin ihan tuonne esimerkiksi IBM:n omaan SaaSiin tai ihan mihin tahansa premiseen oikeastaan. Ja tämä on tavallaan, kun puhuin siitä skaalautuvuudesta, niin nämä kaksi on niin kuin siinä ihan ytimessä. Muita palveluita, niin tietysti tuki-ylläpitopalveluita ja sitten tämän haluan nostaa vielä Broad Configuration Capabilities esille. Eli nyt kun meillä on taustalla Enterprise-tason järjestelmä, niin se tuo mukanaan myöskin sen, että järjestelmä itsessään pystyy konfiguroimaan todella pitkälle. Ja toisaalta nyt kun me ollaan paketoitu tämä niin kuin uuden tyyppisellä tavalla, niin se mahdollistaa sen, että myöskin sitä kehitystä pystytään ja jatkokehitystä tavallaan pystytään tekemään todella ketterästi ja nopeasti. Eli toisin sanoen pelkästään konfiguroimalla me päästään todella pitkälle ja ihan tavallaan semmoista puhdasta koodia, niin sitä tarvitsee vähemmän kirjoittaa. Ja tämä on yksi iso hyöty ja etu ehdottomasti myöskin tässä. Näin. Sitten, kuten sanoin, niin me lähdetään noista 6 teemasta liikkeelle. Se on aina se, mistä me lähdetään eteenpäin. Ja tässä on nyt vähän hahmoteltu käyttöönottoaikataulu, että mitä se käytännössä voisi tarkoittaa. Ja oletetaan, että me lähdetään tuolla paketilla liikkeelle, niin se käyttöönotto, niin kuin tässä näette, niin se on hyvin nopea ja kevyt. Eli käytännössä 4 kuukaudessa niin meidän pitäisi päästä siihen pisteeseen, että meillä on jo tavallaan tuloksia tuossa saatavilla. Ja tämä nimenomaan mahdollistuu sillä, että meillä on näitä valmiita tavallaan assetteja, millä me päästään nopeasti liikkeelle. Sitten muutama sana hinnoittelusta. Eli nyt me ollaan paketoitu tämä niin, että me tarjotaan tämä Solteq Cloud Order Management lähtökohtaisesti aina 3 vuoden määräaikaisella sopimuksella, jonka jälkeen se tilaus jatkuu sitten toistaiseksi voimassa olevana. Ja tosiaan paketoitu tämä nyt niin, että tämä itse palvelu, niin tässä on kiinteä kuukausihinta. Eli tämä pitäisi sisällään ylläpidon, päivitykset, käyttöoikeuden, myöskin jatkuvat palvelut. Sitten 2500 tilausriviä per vuosi. Tämä on asia, mihin voidaan sitten tapauskohtaisesti vaikuttaa, ja sillä tietysti sitten vaikutusta myöskin hieman tuon kuukausihintaan. Sitten tähän palveluun, nimenomaan tähän aloituspakettiin, niin kuuluu 3 pientä myymälää. Pienen myymälän tavallaan määritelmä on 15 000 neliötä. Jos on isompia myymälöitä, mitä halutaan tuoda, niin sekin on toki mahdollista. Ja sitten 5 päätelaitetta per myymälä, missä sitä myymäläkeräystä pystytään sitten tekemään. Ja alkaen hinta tässä niin 4 750 kuussa. Ja sitten tuon itse toimitusprojektin osalta, jota äsken näytin tuossa esimerkkiaikataulua, niin se pitää sisällään määrittelyn, implementaation, testauksen, koulutuksen ja käyttöönoton ja alkaen hinta siinä on 40 000 €. Näin. Sitten vielä muutama sana meidän osaamisesta ja kokemuksesta. Nyt tosiaan niin, jollain voi herätä ehkä kysymys, että nyt kun me tavallaan tuodaan tietyllä tavalla uusi tuote markkinoille, niin onko tässä jonkinlaisia riskejä sinänsä? No tosiaan, kuten sanoin, niin hyvä uutinen on se, että tämä pohjautuu IBM Sterling-teknologiaan, joka on maturiteettitasoltaan hyvin korkea. Ja nyt on oikeastaan kyse siitä enemmän, että me ollaan paketoitu tämä hieman uudella tavalla uudeksi palveluksi. Ja toinen vahvuus, mikä meillä myöskin on niin kuin Solteqina, on se, että me myöskään sisäisesti ei olla tässä ottamassa uutta teknologiaa haltuun, vaan me ollaan tehty Sterlingin kanssa töitä todella monta vuotta jo, ja monta käyttöönottoprojektia on myöskin takana, joten siinä mielessä tämä on meille myöskin tuttu tuote ja tavallaan vahva osaaminen siellä tiimillä on jo olemassa. Eli meidän ei tarvitse mitään uutta alkaa tässä myöskään meidän näkökulmasta rakentamaan, vaan nimenomaan voidaan nojata tähän meidän vahvaan osaamiseen, mikä me ollaan tässä jo vuosien varrella kasattu. Ja sitten tietysti kolmanneksi tämä, että puhuin tuosta skaalautuvuudesta ja palvelun siirrettävyydestä, niin joku ehkä miettii, että onko tässä mahdollista, että joutuu tämmöiseen tietyllä tavalla vendor lock-tilanteeseen, niin ei tosiaan ole. Eli kuten sanoin, niin tämä järjestelmä on siirrettävissä ihan mihin tahansa ja kelle tahansa, ja toisaalta tämä myöskin antaa sen niin kuin suojan sitten asiakkaille, että on niin kuin mahdollisuus valita, kuka se kumppani sitten on ja missä tämä palvelu itsessään pyörii. Eli joustavuus tässäkin niin kuin ajatuksena ja läpinäkyvyys. Näin. Mutta siinä pähkinänkuoressa ehkä, mitä me olemme tässä nyt vajaan vuoden päivät työstäneet, ja kiitos oikein paljon mun puolesta. Toivottavasti saitte tuosta hyvän yleiskuvan nyt, että mitä tämä meidän uusi palvelu pitää sisällään. Ja Anssi, onko sulla vielä tähän loppuun jotain loppusanoja? Varmasti?
On varmasti loppusanat, ja jos Janne voit sanoa sun mikin, niin vedäkseni nyt yhteen tässä lopullisesti. Kiitos kaikille osallistujille tähän astisista, mutta meillä on vielä tähän loppuun tarjous teille, koska hyvät myyntiesitykset ikinä ei pääty ilman hyvää tarjousta. Ja jos Janne voit laittaa sen meidän tarjouksen siihen. Me tullaan tarjoamaan, David esitteli teille tuollaisen Business Value Assessment-työkalun, ja jos teillä vielä on vähänkään semmoinen olo, että onko tämä nyt meitä varten vai ei, niin me tullaan tarjoamaan Business Value Assessment ilmaisiksi kaikille teille, jotka on täällä. Ja tilaus vielä ennen kesälomia, ja etu on käytettävissä ihan tuon Q3 loppuun asti. Ja se, mitä äsken David meille esitteli ja näytti, että mitä tämä tarkoittaa rahallisesti teille, niin sen lisäksi meidän pitää ottaa vielä tavallaan huomioon siinä meidän Business Value Assessmentissa, niin me otetaan, kuten Anil kertoi tuossa, niin tämähän on iso laaja kokonaisuus, tämä koko digitaalinen maailma, mitä me tarjotaan asiakkaille. Niin tässä on muuten pieni mainospala, pieni ote meidän tämän päivän tiliotteesta, että muun muassa näitä teknologioita me edustetaan. Niin meidän pitää sen business value assessmentin lisäksi ottaa huomioon kaikki ne riippuvuudet, mitä teillä on siellä teidän omissa järjestelmissä ja katsoa. Siellä saattaa olla näistäkin teknologioista poikkeaviakin tapauksia, mutta ei hätää, me kyllä pystytään ne käsittelemään. Joten mä nyt suosittelen teitä kaikkia tämän esitysten perusteella ja tämän aamupäivän perusteella, niin olkaa yhteydessä joko teidän myyjään, tai olkaa yhteydessä minuun, tai olkaa yhteydessä Janneen. Pääasia kuitenkin, että olette yhteydessä, käytätte meidän tarjouksen nyt hyväksi. Tulette varmasti saamaan itsellenne ja omalla organisaatiolle tästä paljon irti. Ja me nähdään, että nyt meillä on käsissä semmoinen tuote, jolla jokainen teistä asiakasyritykset niin pääsee eteenpäin tässä niin oman liiketoiminnan kehittämisessä kuin asiakaskokemuksen kehittämisessä. Ja me tiedetään ja ymmärretään, että täällä on vähän niin kuin vastassa tällä hetkellä se, että sitten itse viritellään omaa ERPiä tai jotain muuta vastaavaa. Mutta niin kuin Anil tuossa omassa tarinassa kertoi, niin erittäin tärkeää on rakentaa se teidän digitaalinen business ja kyvykkyys tulevaisuuden kestäväksi myös. Eli sen takia nämä world class teknologiat on meidänkin niin kuin suosiossa, että sit tulevaisuudessa me voidaan olla varmoja, että asiat käy ja kukkuu, tapahtuu mitä tapahtuu. And I will change to English. Anil and David, super thanks to you. It was really inspiring to hear some world class strategies, and it was really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ja kaikille nyt oikein kaunista kesäpäivää, helteistä viikonloppua. Kello on nyt tasan 11 ja koska eletään digitaalista aikaa, niin silloin eletään myös aikataulujen mukaisesti. Olkaa yhteyksissä. Oli mitä tahansa tietenkin asia, mutta nyt ehdottomasti tämän order managementin myötä. Ja käyttäkää hyväksi tämä erikoistarjous. Business Value Assessment plus sitten, että me katsotaan se teidän landscapekin samalla. Kiitos kaikille. Thank you and bye everybody.
Kiitos.